5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the he was.
I'm gonna keep it a full-on buck with you guys. If you don't think Jake Paul's gonna win, you know nothing. You know nothing. I am a casual. I've never been in a fight before, but I like sports and I like watching fighting. I'm telling you guys right now, Jake Paul wins this fight. It's very obvious.
Fighters and, actual fighters, some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small.
Jake Paul fired back at Gervonta Davis with a bold warning during a live session. Speaking directly to fans, Paul dismissed the doubters, insisting that his training and preparation are no joke. He made it clear that he's focused, determined, and fully confident in what he brings to the ring. Paul went even further, claiming that Davis won't be able to withstand his punching power, and that the upcoming fight will prove exactly that.
He would potentially kill you if you got on the ring
He's
with him.
He's a 5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the he was. People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really do this. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Aiden Ross, the well-known streamer, voiced strong confidence that Jake Paul will surprise everyone in his clash with Gervonta Davis. According to Ross, those who doubt Jake's chances simply don't grasp how much he's grown as a boxer. He argued that Paul has shown steady progress with each fight and now has the tools to stand against a world-class opponent. Ross pushed back against critics who still labeled Jake as just a YouTuber, insisting that his performances in the ring have already proven otherwise. For him, this matchup isn't about Davis's legacy, it's about Jake Paul's rise, with his discipline and determination making him a truly dangerous threat.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna be very surprised if Jake's not favorited on the sports betting on sports. Like all you guys saying and all this do you guys understand that it's all about weight and shit? Like, all right, I'm gonna keep it a full-on buck with you guys. If you don't think Jake Paul's gonna win, you know nothing. You know nothing. I am a casual. I've never been in a fight before, but I like sports and I like watching fighting. I'm telling you guys right now, Jake Paul wins this fight. It's very obvious, right? It's very, very, very obvious.
Gervonta Davis often faces criticism not for what he does inside the ring, but for his limited star power outside of it. Many analysts point out that he has struggled to promote even his own divisional matchups. In contrast, Jake Paul and his brother Logan have built a reputation for turning every fight into a global spectacle, driving massive pay-per-view sales through charisma and entertainment. This is a big reason why the Davis versus Paul showdown is attracting so much worldwide attention. Critics argue that without Jake's promotional power, Davis's brand alone wouldn't be enough to carry an event of this magnitude.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pound. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Tank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
Or Shakur Stevenson, widely regarded as one of the most technically skilled fighters in the sport, didn't hold back in criticizing Gervonta Davis for accepting this matchup. Stevenson argued that it disrespects boxing for Davis to fight Jake Paul when so many top contenders in his own division are available. He pointed out that Tank had far better options, including a potential showdown with him, a fight that could have solidified Davis as the premier lightweight. Instead, Stevenson views this as a money-driven choice against a celebrity opponent. His frustration echoes the concerns of boxing purists who want to see true championship clashes rather than crossover spectacles.
You got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank
disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you're going to call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Oladipo shared a different perspective, emphasizing that both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are still in their prime years. In his opinion, a crossover matchup like this shouldn't be happening right now. He drew comparisons to Floyd Mayweather's exhibition with Logan Paul, which made sense because it came after Mayweather's peak. By contrast, Oladipo believes Davis and Paul still have major fights ahead of them, and that this period should be reserved for meaningful challenges, not spectacle-driven events. In his view, such an exhibition would have made more sense later in their careers, once their best years were behind them.
Whether you agree with it or not, Gervonta is considered the #1 lightweight in the world. And it's a division that includes Shakur Stevenson, a lot of young guns coming up. I'm not any more sure if it's going to include Keyshawn Davis, but it's a hot division. He's considered #1 in that division. Like, that's why I kind of find this a bit, I don't know. Like, there are challenges out there for Gervonta. There are big money fights out there for Gervonta. We want to see Gervonta in those fights. Again, I don't know how many fights people want to see AJ in, just to make the AJ Jake Paul comparison. One, as far as I'm concerned, that was Tyson Fury. I don't really have any interest in seeing an AJ in any other more fights. Whereas Gervonta Davis, I wanted and still do want to see him in so many more fights. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. These exhibition things are, like, really and truly, they should all be when your career is done. Like, when you think of Floyd versus Logan Paul, it's done, right? Floyd versus Conor, did he have one more after, or was that it? I can't even remember. But it was right at the end. It was done right at the end, even if it wasn't, right at the end. These guys having these exhibition fights in between what is the peak of their career is kind of weird for me. Very, very weird. And then it isn't even comparable to Ngannou Fury, because at least these guys were the same size. Like, Jake Paul is a 215, 220 pound guy. I don't know what he walks around at. Gervonta fights at 135. Guessing he walks around about 155. Like, whoa. Like, Jake Paul, I've been around him. I'm 5'11", I'd say he's 6'1". Gervonta, I've been around him, I'd say he's 5'4", 5'5", max. And you know, a lot of these guys wear those big heels.
Paulie became visibly fired up when the topic of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis came up during a debate with Chris Algieri. He vented his frustration, arguing that knockouts only carry weight when they're earned against legitimate opposition, not in manufactured matchups. To make his point, Paulie referenced legends like Felix Trinidad and Mike Tyson, who showcased their knockout power against the best fighters of their eras. He accused Davis of avoiding top-tier opponents for years, despite the lightweight and super featherweight divisions being stacked with talent. For Paulie, comparing this crossover fight to the standard of Tyson's era is flat-out insulting, and he dismissed the idea with anger.
Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a
Gervonta
degree,
Davis.
you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist, if he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it, you know, the way they did even when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of
Witherspoon. That were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone. There was nobody there in that era that you can say Tyson didn't fight.
Didn't say it was related. It was the same as the Tyson era. Didn't say it at all. I was actually going to say the opposite when you talk about Trinidad. Trinidad is a bona fide superstar, and the way that he was, and like you said, he
stepped
fought
him up
everybody,
and he knocked out.
And he was a knockout punches. No, of course.
Many analysts see Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis as more of an entertainment showcase than a traditional boxing contest. They argue that Jake isn't at a championship level, so pursuing belts isn't realistic for him. Instead, this kind of matchup thrives on spectacle and global attention. With Netflix backing the broadcast, it's almost certain to draw massive viewership no matter who wins. Some experts predict that Davis's superior skill and speed will make it a one-sided fight, while others believe the appeal lies in the novelty of the clash itself. In the end, the event is less about legacy and more about creating buzz.
I think he's tactfully, as I said, I think he's tactfully saying like, oh,
even
okay,
if he's if he's promoting it the other way, I've been very consistent on my Jake Paul thoughts. I will reiterate one more time. I would rather see this because it's a spectacle than him versus Ryan Borland or Andre August or chasing these like quote unquote championship dreams in boxing. I don't think he's a championship level boxer. I don't really care about that journey. I want to see him in spectacles. Netflix is going to air Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So to me, this is,
you think it will do well?
It will be watched. It will be watched.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to watch.
I would rather see Anthony Joshua just because that has been put out there and is on the table. But I will watch this.
I saw some people breaking this down on, it was a non-fight pod. It was, I don't remember which one. And they were saying like, oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then...
Stephen Fulton, a respected American boxer, stepped in to defend Gervonta Davis amid the wave of criticism. While many fans and commentators accuse Tank of chasing easy paydays instead of pursuing true legacy fights, Fulton urged people to see the bigger picture. He explained that boxers have a limited window in their careers and deserve opportunities for life-changing earnings. Fulton stressed that while fans often focus on legacy debates, fighters also have families and futures to provide for. From his point of view, there's nothing wrong with Davis accepting a lucrative matchup, even if it disappoints purists who wanted to see him battle the top names in his division.
Anybody in that position would have taken that fight, especially with the payout. It's like, that's a no-brainer, but I understand. I still feel for Lamont. That's my boy. Like he still want his rematch. But then when you be realistic about the money situation, you're changing your whole family life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people hate on it because they're not in that position. I'm not saying Lamont. I'm speaking like other boxers. Be like, oh, he this for that. He's this. It's a side quest. It's a little side quest. Because what happened when Floyd and all these guys went on WWE, but then they get right back to what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's like a little side quest. I'm all for people just getting their money. So get the best, make the most that you can out of this entertainment world. Because I mean, I don't know. I would have done it as far as the money aspect, because none of us would deny that money. They talking like they would. None of them would deny that money.
Eddie Chambers issued a clear warning against underestimating Gervonta Davis. While he acknowledged Jake Paul's size advantage, Chambers reminded fans that Davis remains one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport, despite being smaller. He argued that anyone stepping into the ring with Tank who isn't a physical monster themselves is in for serious trouble. Chambers highlighted Davis's speed, sharpness, and knockout power, describing him as one of the toughest pound-for-pound fighters to face. His comments captured the split in opinion. Some believe Jake's size could make the difference, while others insist Tank's elite skill set will always give him the edge.
I think that something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what it's created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing and what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from him. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference, and all that. But he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. You know, it's just going to look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or, you know, but he's going to feel it.
Some analysts argue that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis could generate even more global attention than traditional matchups like Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Their reasoning is straightforward. Jake Paul isn't just a boxer, he's also an entertainer with a massive audience that reaches far beyond the sport. While most fighters primarily attract hardcore boxing fans, Jake's crossover appeal pulls in millions of casual viewers from mainstream culture. That broader reach transforms the event into more than just a fight. Analysts believe that even if purists dismiss it, the numbers will speak for themselves, with Paul versus Davis dominating headlines worldwide.
2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout, who's a far bigger star in the sport of boxing than Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Canelo's not a bigger global star than Jake Paul because Jake Paul is an entertainer outside the sport of boxing. That's why. So now you have people telling you that Jake Paul and Tank Davis is a circus fight, okay? It's a commercial circus fight on top of that. Jake Paul fights at cruiserweight and heavyweight, 200 plus pound, 200 minimum. Okay, his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., former world champion, the son of a legend, he weighed in at 199 pounds. He fought Iron Mike Tyson at 224 pounds, okay? Tank Davis fights at 135 pounds. You have the storyline of David and Goliath that's going to push the entertainment part, okay? That's going to get people to draw interest in the fight. Why? Because you have the whole David and Goliath situation going on. So again, that attracts people. Okay? So it's a sideshow. But even the sideshow, yes, it's going to be on Netflix. Yes, it's going to be a big event on Netflix. But guess what? They are fighting at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. That holds max for concerts, 21,000 people. Canelo and Terence Crawford, September 13th, this Saturday, Las Vegas, Nevada, at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. They just added seats and they're expecting 72,000 people in attendance.
Bastian Fundora, a rising contender in his own division, also weighed in on the matchup. He admitted that while the fight may not make much sense from a competitive standpoint, he's genuinely happy for Gervonta Davis, especially when it comes to the financial reward. Fundora explained that many fighters respect the business side of boxing, knowing how rare it is to secure life-changing money in such a tough sport. While fans may focus on legacy debates, active fighters like Fundora understand why Davis would take the offer. For him, the payday alone justifies Tank's decision.
Everybody knows Tank Davis is fighting Jake Paul. Crossover matchup on steroids. Talk to us about it. What you think?
That's all it is, man. But it's good. Good for him. I'm happy for him. You know, everybody wants to do that, man. If you can go rob the bank and not get in trouble, why not, man? Why not?
Coach Reg offered a practical perspective on the debate. He noted that Gervonta Davis has already accomplished a great deal at a young age, so there's nothing wrong with him taking on a matchup like this. In Reggie's view, even if Davis decided to retire soon after, it would be understandable because he has already proven himself among the top lightweights of his era. He added that fighters eventually earn the right to cash in, and critics often overlook how much Davis has achieved. For Reg, boxing should not deny Tank the chance to secure a major payday.
You know what I mean? Especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and then go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical of Tank. Does it does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputed. You got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age. So I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. You know what I mean? Plus, like, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I wanted to see him fight Shakur. I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Guess what, bro?
That's all for today's breakdown. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for more updates. Until next time, fight fans,